Hello, everybody. This is MIA Boy 101, and this is my 6-month update for MIA, the Mass Immersion Approach. I would like to keep this video brief since probably one of the things MIA-ers, people who are doing MIA, are actually really bad at is making concise videos. So yeah, do notice how I didn't include AJAT in the title, and that's because that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing MIA. It's quite a bit more different than people realize from AJAT. It's more different, than people realize. Okay, so about 6 months ago, I was trying to learn kanji, right? Because I thought the best way to learn Japanese was to start by the kanji. And so I literally downloaded an Anki deck for the 2,500 most common kanji, and I just repped it. No mnemonics, no nothing. I looked at the kanji and tried to make up some sort of story in my head, and yeah, anyway, that didn't work, basically. That was a very ineffective way of trying to learn kanji. So I went to the internet for help, and I found Matt vs. Japan's why RTK is the best way to learn kanji video, and everything he said was making so much sense that I decided to watch other videos of his. And so about 6 months ago, I decided I would actually become someone who does MIA. Because I agree with pretty much everything Matt says, and I think he makes a lot of sense. But anyway, I didn't say I want to keep this brief, so I better get going. I'm getting right to the grain. My abilities, what can I do? So, in terms of comprehension, as everyone says, it's hard to say. But I would say, let's say for a simple anime, let's say I have about 40% comprehension, right? I've been watching Angel Beats for a few days, and I'd say I can definitely follow along with no issues, and I get quite a bit of it, so it's nice. There's definitely a lot of words I don't know, but I feel like I have a solid understanding of more and more words as time passes. And then in terms of output, I think I could probably make a few sentences at most that actually sound decent. I would know whether something is grammatically correct for most of my sentences if I tried to make them. I actually don't think I could say much, but if I said it, most of it would not sound natural, and some of it would be actually grammatically incorrect. But I think I have a feel for the grammar now, a bit more of a feel. But anyway, onto the path I've taken up to now. So I actually, when I started MIA, I didn't know that much about it. I didn't even watch Matt's huge update video, which means I started by doing lazy kanji, which is totally something you shouldn't do. No, I started doing RTK, and I did that for a week or two until I discovered his video. So I started right back from the beginning with RTK. Lazy kanji, I'm sorry. I did that for about a month, and I went through the 1,000 kanji, and it actually took me a week longer than it should have because I missed days of repping due to exams and whatnot. After that, I did take him. I went through the entire guide. I think I made something like 550 cards or something like that. After that, which again took me about a month more, should have probably taken me, how much is that, 20 days? Not even. I made 30 cards a day for Take Him. It should have taken me like under 30 days. Under 20 days, sorry. But it took me more like a month because, again, I missed days. Then after that, I actually started doing what it says on the MIA website, which was to go through some vocab that you didn't sentence mine. So this is vocab you got from like a frequency list, or vocab you got from like a pre-made deck. And I did that for like 3 days because on like the third day I realized I hate this. Actually it might have been more like 4 days, but like I was like, I hate this. This is no fun. And I feel like I would get much more out of my immersion, and I would actually do progress towards understanding my immersion if I sentence mine instead. Because the vocab you get from sentence mining is actually, it pertains to the immersion you're doing. So, and I found that to be true. Like I started sentence mining and I started progressing, which was really nice. Also, I didn't start immersing heavily, right? I knew immersion was good, but I didn't understand the fact that the active immersion, right, is better than partially active immersion. And partially active immersion is a lot better than passive immersion. So yeah, definitely, if you're going to immerse, don't think that passive immersion is going to cut it. You're going to need lots and lots and lots of active immersion, where you're actually focusing on the material you're watching. And I was going to say, yeah, I didn't start immersing from the beginning, right? That's something I definitely regret. I wish I'd started immersing as soon as I opened up RTK, right? Which it should have been the lazy kanji deck, but yeah. I definitely wish I'd started immersing, and I don't think most learners realize how important it is, even if they feel like they can't get anything from it. Now, like looking back on it, I feel like you definitely can get a lot from just immersing when you don't know anything. Next, let's see, because I'm seeing some like unimportant things I wrote for myself, so, and I'm trying to keep this kind of short, so let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, so recently I made a YouTube channel, this YouTube channel actually, and on it I watch just Japanese math channels because I like math, and I do that whenever I do that as part of my like leisure time. In fact, like watching anime is pretty fun, but like sometimes I'm bored of it, so I go watch something else in Japanese. Like at least I try, right? I fall back on English content like all the time, and I'm not the best immerser by any means, but yeah, I do try to immerse as much as possible within my like capabilities. I'd also like to explain my daily routine. So it follows this order pretty much. First thing in the morning, I rep old cards. So with 0 new cards, I rep my sentence deck, and then after that, I try to do some reading immersion, because I feel like it's important to have a good balance of reading and listening immersion, right? So I go read Quora articles, and then after that, I usually manage to, and I do that during free periods in school, and then after that, I add the new cards for the day. I do 20 a day, 20 new cards a day, and after that, it's super quick to rep the new cards once you've already repped all the old ones from like the previous day and the days before that. So yeah, it's something I would recommend, but you don't have to. It's definitely not an MIA thing. But yeah, after that, I rep the new cards, and then that gives me the rest of the afternoon to just immerse. Also, next thing. I actually wanted to show you my Anki, to show you some like stats and some stuff on Anki, but basically, I feel like it's recording already. Is it? It is recording. Okay. So, 1 second. And okay. So on Anki here, I'd like to show you some stats. I have a few decks here. So you can actually pause this later if you're interested in seeing my progress. And yeah, I'm actually going to stop here because look at my mature retention rate. The reason I haven't changed my interval modifier is because I feel like my retention rate is going to drop more, so I want to wait a little so I don't like get awful retention rates. Because it used to be like 98%, but I feel like it's starting to stabilize. Because in the beginning, the mature cards are actually pretty young mature cards, as opposed to like really, really old cards. But after there's like a good balance of like retired cards, and like all the mature cards are going to stay at an average like age, I'm going to actually increase the interval modifier so I don't have to do so many reps and I can immerse more. But yeah, right now I have 1,081 cards, which for a 6-monther who is actually not that intense is, I feel like, pretty good. I miss a lot of days, and you might have noticed my streak was actually like pretty high. I had a streak of like 41 days, but that's not 41 days where I added new cards and repped them. That's 41 days where I did at least one rep. And on some of them, I actually did one rep because I didn't want to lose a streak, but I didn't have time, or I actually didn't feel like doing reps. Mostly it's me not having time because I do enjoy the process of doing MIA. Okay. So those are some Anki things. Also, I wanted to show you how I make my cards. So, or rather, how my cards are. So, here we have a sentence, and you might notice the card is blue and it has orange text. Well, all I did was looked up the names of HTML colors. So, and I just went into the edit. Then I went on edit, and like you can change this here. See, anyway, that's irrelevant. I just think they look nice. They look nice, and they're nicer to rep if you like them. But anyway, so here we have the word I don't know is in bold, and it's also italicized. So like on the back, what I have is the reading and the definition. I don't have any images, and I don't have the English translation because I feel like those are going to make me the image is going to make me remember it worse because I'm going to like have context dependent knowledge, and then the translation is going to make me biased towards translating to English, or like using certain translations to English for certain expressions in Japanese, which is not something I want. So yeah, that's it for my Anki. Next. Oh, also, do notice that the cards were I+1. So, and that's actually pretty important because it's easier to understand the sentence if you have a really good foundation for the rest of it, right? That's definitely something I'd stick to. I try to stick to it. Sometimes a sentence just looks too nice, so I have to add it to my Anki, but yeah. So next, I'd like to talk about some doubts I had. So just so people can who have the same doubts think, oh, then other people are having the same doubts, so it's natural. It's not it's not weird to think these things, and they actually get fixed. So don't worry about these. The monolingual transition. When I started off sentence mining, I was actually pretty scared of the monolingual transition. Now I definitely see why it's necessary. And I'd actually like to do it pretty soon, since I already have like 1,000 sentences. When I started sentence mining, I thought, well, until I have like 2,000 sentences, there's no way I can do the monolingual transition. But now that I have like 100, I feel like when I reach, like, I feel like I can already do it. Like, I'm not scared of it. So, like, you'll eventually get to a point where you can do it. Don't worry about that. Also, when I started, I also didn't have a really good grasp for the grammar. So people would say like really long sentences and I would get every word, but I wouldn't understand the like real meaning or like the nuance behind the sentence. And I feel like the more and more I understand, and the more like my brain gets used to the patterns, the more it fixes it. Definitely, if you want to increase your comprehension of these things, just amp up your immersion, or like continue to be consistent with your immersion, and that should fix many problems. Also, something I've noticed is Japanese grammar guides, or at least Taekim's grammar guide. Like, I don't know if other people got the same impression, but like there were a lot of grammar points which I thought, that seems like relatively important. I'll make a card out of it. But like many of them, like I don't think I use like half the grammar, or like I don't think I need like half the grammar in Taekim's grammar guide to like understand 98% of the grammar used in daily Japanese. So that's something to note. Also, I feel like some people might feel like their listening is stagnating. And the reason for that is, if you're actually immersing, the reason for you stagnating and listening, I think, is vocab, and not so much you being used to the language. Although it might be both, it's more vocab after a certain point. So like if you do like quite a bit of immersion, it's more likely that it's vocab which is causing your listening to be worse. Also, and finally, actually, I'd like to say thanks to Matt vs. Japan, because he's overall a really cool dude. Never met him in person. I've never had a conversation with him. Never. But I'd really like to thank you, because you explain AJAD. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've just done something terrible. You explain MIA, so that like anyone can understand it, and anyone can understand it really well. And you make really good points. And I'm glad you're kind of the leading figure in MIA, in like this type of learning. Also, shout out to Sára, or Sára, for lending me the camera I used to record this video. So anyways, that's pretty much it. I don't know how to end this, so I'll just say, Jane.